Welcome to another late edition to the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Um, Something that's been on my mind um, for a little bit. Today, today was pretty good. Just came back from a concert. Uh, my children were hosting a Christmas play. I wanted to see what their talents, what they were able to do, and they did the damn thing, and I'm extremely proud of my children. Um, Extremely proud. The things that they had shown, not just through us, but you showed the world how talented Black people can be. Just speaking of my kids, not dissing anybody else's children. Um, won't be I won't be on for very long. Just thought I'd bring a couple things to your attention. Hopefully this gets through. If not, understandable. And I will be getting an update on Jasmine Crockett sometime in the morning. Um, my beef is when you have conversations about Black America in general with other people who mainly come from different countries. My thing about it is, if you're going to invite them to your show and start asking the most egregious questions in the world, and then when they answer you, and then when they give their honesty, why is it that you get offended every single time they ask your questions? And if you didn't like the answer to the question that is being asked, my suggestion is just refute, but come up with your facts, however you want to put it. Everybody's going facts, 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 but you're letting facts cloud your judgment when it comes to people who look like you. You automatically get upset when a person of another it's not even another culture, because we all share the same culture somewhat. Smash it. The fact of the matter is, you have a problem when other countries do better than you. Other countries are doing better than you. That's just a sad fact of it. Burkina Faso, that's one of the countries. um Abraham Taribe is doing a fabulous job over there. But according to you, he's a tether. According to you, he he didn't he doesn't have the ability to save you from your injustices over here in America. But quite frankly, you had the smart, the wits, the know-how, and the physicality to get where you need to be. But for some odd strange reason, and it's not our fault, it's half of our fault, that the white man's ice is colder. The white man's ice is colder. And for the simple fact that we had our own establishments back in the day, none of us had decided to rebuild those establishments from within. But that's not the particular thing that I'm talking about. There was a particular conversation that obviously, I don't know what podcast it was, but the Peef Network was, and they were showing many other clips. They were showing other clips of Yvette Cornell and Adolphs, and then of course you got the foundational Black Americans lurking, and so on and so forth. And everybody tribalism is entitled to something. You ain't entitled to shit. I'm here to tell you. As a Pan-African, you ain't entitled to a motherfucking thing. And I'll tell you why in a minute. You all, for I don't even know how long. Let's say a couple of decades. A couple of decades, you have been harping on this same reparations talk for decades. And understandable, I'm not against reparations whatsoever, but to get it in cash payments, they're not going to give you cash payments for it. I think one old man said, well, give me cash payments and $3 million. I deserve $3 million. $3 million. Ain't give you no damn cash payments and no damn 3 million. Man, I'm not gonna give you cash. Now, in land, I wouldn't mind because land is more valuable than the paper that is being printed to you. America is known for printing paper, and it appreciates and it depreciates in value each time. And this is why specifically certain countries, specifically 6 different countries, say, F the paper, I want gold. Gold is more price, gold is more affordable than paper. Nixon just found a way to F up everything. Now I know, and again, I'm not against reparations because it's basically to repair the damages that are being done, which you can't repair any type of damage when it comes to us, when it comes to your people getting annihilated, or our people getting, excuse me, our people getting decapitated, uh, mangled, right hand being taken away. Through the Jim Crow era, through the Dred Scott decision, through many different horrors, especially, I want to say the Emmett Till situation, but I have this one thing on my mind I want to say. Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch will never go away with me. The fact that this European took a strong black man, and it was 5. It was 5 of them that took on one strong individual, beat him to death, tied him up to 4 horses, and separated his body for the women and the children to see. Because they wanted to instill fear in you. They wanted to instill famine in you. They wanted to take away your ability to think. They wanted to take away your ability to fight back. Y'all seem to forget what had happened to you, or what had happened to your ancestors, or what had happened to your kinfolk from those years ago. But somehow, some way, just because some it's just because a person who looks like you speaks a different language, you feel like you're being disrespected because he said, and I quote, that you don't have a culture. If we didn't have a culture, then challenge him on that. Have the conversation. All of a sudden, your panties are too tight. Here's in case of what I'm telling you.
And how side. So I kind of expected, like, people, like, when you view the A side, people tend to talk about you more. You know, so it's not alarming to me, or I'm not surprised by the fact that it happens so often.
No, we're not normalizing disrespect no more. That era of us looking up.
You muted yourself, Mark.
I was gonna say, and the reason why you want to know the reason why we used to entertain that conversation, because we are arguably one of the most inclusive groups, because a lot of people delineate a whole lot when it comes to this stuff. We were all inclusive. We invited people in to be like, hey, look, y'all can kick it amongst us. We can have conversations. But what we noticed is there, like, and I don't normally use the word tether, but the definition of the word tether is any African, Caribbean, Black, British, or Canadian person who copies or imitates or appropriates Black culture, but then also tries to disrespect that culture when it comes to being amongst other groups, especially white people.
That's like calling us hoes, saying somebody a pimp and calling us some hoes, like that type of disrespectful shit.
So like that's where, and the reason why that word tether has become so popular is because Black people are starting to delineate and say, you know what? At one point, we did try to include y'all. We did try to open up our doors to y'all. But then what we noticed is here come all the disrespect, and now we're closing the door on that. Because if this same conversation happened 15, 20 years ago, even 8 years ago, you wouldn't see nearly as many people get upset about it. But now, because we're recognizing, like, oh, okay, we see what's going on now. We're not allowing it anymore. All right.
Swing. Shit, I wish I had this motherfucking money. See, y'all can clown if y'all want to, but you wouldn't be coming up here talking that bullshit if I had his money. Y'all be like, Marshall, give me some money, nigga. And I actually met him in real life too. He's cool as a fan. You gonna give me some money? All right. Shit, you talking all that talk, but you get the what? You have to show and prove. It's still all zero. But anyway, the one thing I get tired of is all the complaining. Complain. I have not yet met. Thank you for the dollar. Appreciate you. I never met any immigrant, any African, any Jamaican, any Haitian that did me dirty or was ever talking shit about me. I never met him. Never met the person. Don't even know who he is. They was always been good to me. They've always been good to me. They've been good, good to my family. I've had no problem with them. And we don't have conversations like this. If we do, it was very, very, very minimal, because we know for the simple fact that conversations like these don't go very far. It just doesn't. Case in point example. Like, they proclaim that one person, or maybe they have encountered, a person like that before in their life, right? Even if it were the minimum or the maximum of, let's just say, a whole group of fucking people, right? That's still a low percentage of people who are here in the United States because they don't want nothing to do with you. They work. All they do is go home, take a shower, eat, go to sleep, talk in their native tongue, and then that's it. That is just it. They work just like you and I. Of course, you're gonna have a couple of people here and there talking on, soaking up all the culture, all the particular cultures of the world, uh, rap, R&B, all types of shit, dance, whatever the case may be. But let me ask you something. When you say these certain people, these certain ones, um, act like they better than us or whatever the case, because they mimic our culture, in that culture, is what we do their fault? Is what we do as a culture, for example, Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Lil Wayne, Future. How many of these people you see come out with negativity? I can name a couple. I can name a couple of people off the rip who was more wisdom, or who has who is not more popular, but I would rather listen to these people night and day than listen to these bums that we got now. Number one, Kendrick Lamar. Um, I was going to say Mac 10. Ice Cube, Lupe Fiasco, Most Def. I would rather sit there and listen. Oh, KRS-One. I would rather listen to KRS-One, Lupe, Most Def, and Kendrick Lamar than having to sit down and have to listen to the same old garbage and Common. I almost forgot Common. Silly me. Shame on me. Shame on me. For real. For real. I hold myself accountable to that because Common is one of the most conscious brothers I ever listened to. And Talib Kweli, I've listened to Talib Kweli. Tech Nine, I mean, I'll get back to you on that. I will definitely get back to you on that. But my point is, the most popular cultures tend to be shitty cultures. The popular cultures, when it comes to music, people emulate, listen to, and then wondering why these tethers of you hoes, they're imitating off the shit that they see. If they were to emulate off of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson or Dr. John Henry Clark or Louis Farrakhan, if they imitated off of that, plus, becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, blah, 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 do you obviously think that the people who come over here in different countries would be better off? But instead, they soak up the things that they see on television. Now you have a two-way street between who is being obtuse and or who is being an asshole. Is it their fault or is it our fault? Is it their fault or is it our fault?
So I think the confusion for me, just to be clear, is that I was under the impression that we're having a discussion, an intellectual discussion about a topic. What I'm hearing is a lot of people getting offended and in their feelings and really making a lot of emotional statements. That's all I hear is a bunch of triggered black men on the panel. Mr. White triggered, Sweeney triggered. You hear what you want to hear and you're not hearing for understanding.
I think you're a bad
I'm really
father.
confused, you guys.
I think you're a bad father. I think you're a bad father.
I think you're homosexual.
Okay. Okay. So, anyways, like I was saying before,
No. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's have a conversation.
And then the examples, and these are just pity pet examples that they were just doing. Then you want to go into the whole pity paddle example things. It's like, this man disrespecting and you don't see the disrespect. No, he just said in having a conversation, in his soliloquy, he said there is to him, to this man, and I'm going to show you in a little bit, to a man who is from it, I think he's from Nigeria, from a Nigerian man, in his perspective, he does not see culture. And Dave Anderson, not to a liking of him, but he broke it down specifically what our cultures specifically look like. When it comes to the Timberland boot, who made it popular? Biggie Smalls, hell, the whole damn Wu-Tang Clan made Timberlands look famous. Who wore more Timberlands in school in the 90s, especially in the 90s when I went to school? Timberlands were the style back then. Baggy pants and baggy jeans, Levi jeans became baggy, and then you got cross colors coming out. I mean, we made that popular. And then LL Cool J came out with FUBU, for us, by us. We all know our culture. We all know what we stand by. But we also have a culture in Africa. The 13th all the way to the 25th dynasty. The people, the Amet, the Hotep, the way he looked, the facial features, the Homo sapiens, the noses, what we depictuate as, what we look at, what we look like on a day-to-day basis. And what you don't seem to understand, Nitwit, is that the people who enslaved the Africans took our names, took our land, took our culture, detached our languages from us. We weren't speaking this dummy language before, but now it's all like we just have amnesia and we just forgot who we were. And it's when the people come in and they tell you, well, you're not alone in this. You are Pan-African. Pan-African only means global. That's all it means. All this other tribalism stuff, Israelites, FBA, Adolfs, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything if it doesn't have any power to it. But I just believe somehow, some way, one of you is going to wake up one day, like a Professor James Smalls, who was disrespected by Tariq Nasheed, but I digress. Y'all are going to wake up one day. Y'all are going to wake up one day and you're going to realize you're going to need each other more than ever, because take a look what Donald Trump's doing to you now. I mean, take a look. Take a real long, hard look at what Donald Trump is doing to you right now. But y'all ain't convinced.
I think he's selling pussy.
We're talking about fellas. Listen, fellas.
No, let's have an intellectual conversation about real Nathan Davis.
You want to change? Do you want to change the topic?
Yes, we're gonna have a conversation about you.
So, how about we ask a person whose channel this is if he wants us to change the topic? Be respectful.
I'm sure he's okay with it.
No, be respectful of Pete. This is a topic.
I'm very good friends.
Am I confused?
With us discussing.
No, you're fine with disrespecting this man's channel, right?
Well, Nathan, I think what they're
shout out to Nathan. Shout out to my boy Nathan Daly. I mean, he came in with respectfully guns blazing and with truth and facts. and apparently they don't like, it's like, get down and lay down. I get it. Black America is the most unique culture in the United States of America, and they're being the most copied and all this other stuff. And I get it. And I totally get it. But you gotta stop thinking about yesteryears and think about the next generation of children who are going to grow up, and they're going to realize that each and every single one of us is separated down the pipeline. And it's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny that we tend to have these conversations about who's foundational and who's not. But you would let a white woman come up there and tell you, a black man would tell you, a black woman, how your culture really is. It's flabbergasting to me how you would let a white woman tell you who you are, but let's not have a tether come and have a conversation about Black America and what it depicts about and what it truly is. What kind of backwards thinking is this? You just let a whole you disqualified at that point because you let Miss Pearly things come up there and tell you into your face who you are. And you wanted to have the conversation. But when it comes to a nigga from Nigeria, you don't want to have the conversation. That is crazy. That's crazy work. But I want you to make it make sense to me.
They're trying to illustrate the
I know what
point
they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to do, and it's poor taste, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
again,
not poor taste.
it is poor taste.
It's holding the mirror up. It's not poor taste. It's literally holding the mirror up. You said, it's okay to be disrespectful as long as we have an intellectual
No one
conversation.
said that. When did I say that?
Disrespectful then and have an intellectual
Exactly.
conversation.
That's the point that we make.
Is it only poor taste when it's an individual versus a group of people?
But nothing that you guys did was accurate of what happened on that panel. It's completely different. You chose to hear, you chose to filter the way you want to filter, which is fair. That's your right. But it's still not consistent in what was happening. They had conversations, and again, it's like, this is what I'm speaking from, again, being a Black American. Conversations like this should not, in my opinion, arrive at anger, disrespect. We shouldn't be attacking each other. We should be intellectual enough to converse.
Well, who's defining disrespect? Who's defining disrespect? Who's defining disrespect?
Well, My boy NY said
Project emoji.
Sweetie said it was disrespectful. You even said it was disrespectful, and Kiana gave her depiction of what she believed to be true, and you totally derailed her opinion. Which
Okay, so with you saying that, then do Mr. White or Sweetie has the right to say this what they said and say let's make it one-on-one? Do he have the right to do that? And you call that out as being disrespect?
They have the right to state that it's disrespectful, but what I believe we were trying to do is trying to identify where. There was no offense to the black culture and sense of saying this is wrong, you this, you that. That's not what I'm
Disrespectful.
But is that your opinion or how they took it?
No. It's my opinion because there was
okay,
no.
So if that's wait. If that's your opinion, Truth, then Mr. White has an opinion. Sweetie has an opinion. What they thought the conversation was about. So now we just all like buttholes. We got opinions. So what I'm saying is how you go take one opinion of what they consider disrespect over another. So when he wanted to make it personal towards Nathan, then now it's all disrespect. But you talking about a group of people who was talked about and someone felt like it was disrespect, but you don't see that. You only see it when it's...
You're radicalized. I'm just going to say that up there. Anybody who is going to work this hard to tell you it is just plain disrespect if you don't agree to what it is about our culture. If you do not agree to it, if you can't say, because you feel that you had the conversation for years and years and years, right? And it's just y'all just talk slick at the mouth, but you need to start pointing out some of these people and stop putting everyone in a box. It's tiresome. It is very, very tiresome. At the end of the damn day, we are all being oppressed in some form of another. The world may change, but the scenario stays the same. You have no base. You have no base to go to. When they fuck with you, you have nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. You don't have any weaponry of any kind. Y'all motherfuckers ain't no goddamn Shaka Zulus or Patrice Lumumbas or even the homie. You ain't neither none of those. You ain't none of the 9 tribal tribes. You ain't none of those tribes. You don't even create toothpicks. The white mans have just as much bullets as you do. But the difference is he can cut off your water supply. The difference is he can poison the wells where you're at. Case in point, Flint, Michigan. He can poison the waters. He can poison your foods. He can poison everything, and you have nothing to go to. You have no plans, no structure, no nothing. You don't even know who you are. But it's a wonderful thing for you all, or let's just say, for example, white folks, right? White folks hate white people. But when it comes to power, being in charge of some shit, people don't like Donald Trump. But they don't mind giving Trump a little bit of donation money to keep you motherfuckers in line. To keep me, to keep you, to keep others in line. And the embarrassment part is the women. Our women get more of a handout than our black men. You know why? Because they fear competition. That's why nobody would, no black man. Well, who's the brother? Who's the Republican brother, so-called Republican brother, that's trying to go up against, who's depicting or going up against Jasmine Crockett if he wins the primaries? Who is that brother? They will never put a man like that in charge of the White House ever again. At least on that side. It's bad enough that you have a Jasmine. It's bad enough that you can't even, they will not let a black woman into the White House. That's bad enough. What makes you think they're going to let a black man who's a Republican into the White House after Obama, of all people? After Obama. Make America Great Again is not the same slogan as you think it is. Make America, we all know, come on, keep it real, keep it a book. Come on, keep it real. We all know what making America Great Again is, what it stimulates. It ain't nothing to do. Making America Great Again ain't got nothing to do with you. Nothing.
It's an individual.
I don't see it because there was nothing that I derived from his commentary that was
Okay, you're going back to what you're feeling now.
Have no culture.
Going back to what you're feeling now.
Yeah, true. He's saying simply, I think this is black culture. SMD is equivalent to black people don't have no culture. I don't need to hear nothing else you got to say. If me and Sweeney argue, he say, yo, something, it gotta go down. So essentially they saying black people don't have no culture. It's lit after that. You see?
That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. All because of a couple of word salads. Y'all get super sensitive and start crying like babies. Because nothing has been handed out to you. Ain't no money, ain't nothing that's being handed out to you. Now you're following a group of people who are chaotic. Very, very fucking chaotic. And foundational, I'll call them phony black Americans. Foundational black Americans are nothing but some chaos. But I have more respect for Adolfs than I do foundational black Americans. Why? Because Adolfs is not chaotic. They don't seek looking for trouble. See what I'm saying? They don't look for trouble. They just look. Are you foundational black Americans? No, I'm from Nigeria. Tether! Are you foundational black Americans? No, I'm from India. Taylor! Are you foundational black Americans? No, I'm from Ghana. Tether! That's all that is. That is all that is. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I bet you all those foundational black American people who now, after 2 years, proclaim foundational black, come on, dog. Come on, man. Come on, man. Point is this. Question. If you're so foundational, I think that's what I was going to say till I lost all train of thought. Okay. I bet you people in your family, if you follow your lineages, I bet you in that family tree you will find a what? Am I lying? I bet you, 13%, I bet you, you will find a tether in your family. Tether meaning, I don't know why you would call them a tether. I don't even know why, but if if you say, I was born and bred I was born in America, born and bred, but I'm in Sweden, and I'm Sweden. I live in Sweden for a little while, handle some business in Sweden. What the fuck are you doing in Sweden? You're supposed to be here in America. Like, what? I'm here with my wife and my kids. You should be here in America, developing family here in America. Last time I checked, well, not now, but a little bit later on down the line, Asians will rule America. Yeah, we've been saying that. Asians will definitely rule America. If you don't believe me, I want you to Google Japan AI McDonald's. I think that's it. AI McDonald's in Japan. People over here who are developing, or they're sending. Well, Trump wants to send some Asians over here and give them the type of education that they need so they can build on AI. And just think, all the AI in the world, after it's been functional and affected, how much you want to bet that 40% of the jobs here in America are going to be lost? It's bad enough that you have a certain amount of people here in the United States who just got let go of their job, didn't do anything wrong, came in on time, was doing right, eating their lunch, coming back on time. We had no write-ups or nothing. Performance may be a little bit rocky here and there, but nothing to pick of the fire and anything. Just a simple good guy. But you come in the next morning and say, your services are no longer needed. We're talking about 7 million people, 7 million plus people with their jobs being taken away. It's not just because of the tariffs either. Not just because of the tariffs. But we have the audacity to say that a person is wrong for having a conversation and forming his opinion about Black culture. We done lost it.
After that, we ain't got shit else to talk about.
Like, that's what I hear.
That would be different from person to person, though. It's going to be different person to person. They're in a setting that's intentionally made to have a discussion about a topic. Whether we like what the basis of that topic is or not does not deny the fact that that's what it's for. So there's different boundaries than saying a man is the B word than it is to sit in a place where you ultimately, the intention is to have a discussion. That doesn't mean you have to like the topic nor the opinion attached to it. It's a media discussion just as we're having here.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Go ahead. Go.
If the intention is to have a discussion, then you would not enter the discussion saying, Black people don't have culture. You would say, I don't feel like, or I don't see where Black Americans have a culture. Like, you insert your opinion in that way and not make an assertion.
So now you're trying to tell a person how to talk. Now you're insinuating that he was saying something bad when apparently he wasn't. And before we even get into the whole thing, I want to find out what he's looking for. And quite frankly, this is one of the reasons why I hate having talks like this. If I was on that panel, fewer more people would have been cussed out. Excuse me. Fewer more people would have been cussed out their fucking shoes. Why? Because there's a time. I'm controversial when it comes to panels. Because when we can agree to disagree, and I wouldn't say anything. We can agree to disagree. We can come together and have a mutual discussion on any and everything, and have it to be straight and straight, no shit, and just everything will be everything. But it takes one or few. Oh, this is draining. It just takes one or few people to F up a whole entire conversation. Shit, we try to mimic those who are more successful than us. It's already that has already been done, unfortunately. People come over here from different countries, mind their own business, stay in the same house for years, and then their kid graduates and gets a job, gets ownership of a grocery store or a gas station. Everybody has their own, have the businesses. What have Black folks owned and controlled and given to the next generation? Rarely anybody has done that. Rarely. And even when they did hand them the keys to the company, or literally having a choice because they're on their last leg and about to kick the bucket. So they ended up giving the keys to the kingdom. What do most Black folks do? AKA Viacom, AKA BET, AKA what was it, Mike Johnson or something like that? I forgot the guy's name. Sold BET for buckets. So there was a guy here in Las Vegas. You can look up the D Hotel. Was owned by a brother who particularly passed away due to a heart attack. All the proceeds went to his wife. His wife didn't want the hotel. Gave it to his sons. The sons didn't want the hotel. They just wanted the money. And I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I would say it just all depends. You have no problems taking Indian hair and putting it, sticking it into your head and getting all types of cancer cells, but you have a difficult time growing it. Well, whatever. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That now. Oh my coaching shit. Jasmine's definitely going to have a hard time with this. Jasmine is definitely going to have a hard time with this shit. Because she supports She supports any and everybody, right? Because she's a politician. Politicians do that. Ain't no politician one way. Ain't no politician. I don't care who you are. People want to blame Kamala Harris, and rightfully so, because she, was trying to depict America as one little boat or whatever that floats on water. But I'm here to tell you, Black America hasn't gotten it worse, right? She realizes it, but yet at one point in time, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to do specifically for Black people. No. Now all of a sudden you want to straighten up and fly right. See how you see. All right. Let me see. And trust me, I'm not going to be here very long, because this shit is draining. This shit is very, very freaking toxic. And JR knew what he was doing. JR definitely knew what he was doing. So let's see.
For whatever reason.
I even get onto that. I think that's a whole other conversation. But I do believe, I think somebody was saying that we are trendsetters, and people tend to take some of the things that we have created in.
Oh, trust me, I will. But thanks for that, bro. Thanks for that.
For example,
how was y'all Sunday? How was y'all Sunday? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever knocked into how do I say it? Have y'all ever knocked into an immigrant from whatever country, doesn't matter what country it is, and they was just all of a sudden being disrespectful to you? Disrespectful, saying your culture is trash. Child. Better not be a damn child. He won't stay off YouTube. Lisa, it ain't been but almost an hour. It ain't been but a whole hour. If you're a teen, I would say, put it this way. If you are a teenager, you don't need to be up here. You really don't. I'm gonna start looking up, going through. Well, you know what? Never mind. Forget it. Forget I even said anything. Forget it. Because even children need to learn this too. Children do need to learn this. So my bad. That's my fault. Children do need to learn this. But this is not, I repeat, not the way to go. It ain't. This is not the way things should be. We shouldn't have to, if you were to invite me and I am from a different country, to have a distinct conversation about culture, you have a particular problem with me because I say these particular words while I'm saying them. I'm saying, and I'm trying to put it in the context that you have no culture based on this. But then you got another brother who is from America, was born and raised in America, right? Who says through facts, without facts and facts, fuck your feelings, all about screw your feelings. It's all about facts, right? You have a born American. You have an American born and bred saying that we made the Timberland boot famous. You had LL Cool J who came out with FUBU. You had the mother, and they didn't necessarily say that the mother from who was captured from Africa gave you the nastiest, stinkiest, filthiest part of the pig, while everybody else in the big house was chilling out, right? While everybody else, the white man, the European man and the white man were in the big house eating, they gave the worst type of slop, the worst type of food, the worst type of junk that you can depict. I had the pictures too. And you had a woman that said it's either ride or die. So she took the filthiest part of the pig and she made it voluptuous for us to eat. And until this day, pig feet, pork chops, things that can give you high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Yeah. Dead is slavery. That is correct. But it's like I said, we're all in the same boat, whether you like it, love it, hate it, if you smell what the rock is cooking. We are all in the same doggone boat. We're just going in different directions. And the person you should be mad at is a slave driver. Why are we mad? Why are we mad at people from other countries who look like us, but sound as if they are speaking Creole or they speaking Igbo or Octoroon? But it's like I said before, you let pearly things come up on your platforms and say the N-word more than one occasion, and then you want to continuously have the conversation versus a person so you have no culture. Get them out of here. Really? This is what we're doing? It's sick. It's very, very, very sick.
Culture. Now, even useful.
When they say, when y'all can get in, I had a question when you say just be around Black folks. I'm sure we all up here don't live the same or follow the same type of quote unquote traditions. So they could be around a Candace Owens type of Black folks where most Black people are anti Candace Owens, or they can be around a Steve Harvey. They could be around a Sexy Red. If we're all not on the same page to follow, and anybody can cosplay and say, hey, vote for me, my hair is Black, and sit down with Keke Palmer and we just, hey, go for her. It's like anybody can just be immersed. Like we had a Pearly fiasco over and over. They can just come around and just, okay, and then we want to be pro-Black, but then we not around each other. We can't get on the same page in front of these same people that watch us. So it's like, that's how we always get infiltrated, by letting others come hang out with us, cosplay what we don't know.
Yeah, other Africans. And yes, we do have a lot to answer for. But we're talking about free Blacks versus enslaved Blacks, right? And there were very few. I think his name is John Willis. One of them is John Willis, a free Black. who had African slaves back then. I say that the difference is one had power, the other one didn't. The distinct difference is the other one. I mean, slavery is bad, period, all over. But people seem to forget that again, African consists of 56 countries, 56, and among those 56, most of those, or a third of those, of that country, the continent of Africa was colonized. Look up the origins of Morocco, Northern Africa versus Southern Africa, who depict upon white South African farmers who took most of the landfills, which is now we're getting those landfills back. Why do you think Donald Trump put them over here? Got rid of legal and illegal immigrants here in the United States, in different states, in different cities, but then through you free South Africans, free white South Africans. Make it make sense.
And then say, oh yeah, I'm black too. But then if they say nigga, we got a problem. So it's like, I don't know.
Real quick, Sweeney, I don't think that the next clip is going to derail us. Let's get the clip in so we could be thinking about that while you respond to Luck. And I know Pretty put a hand up too. JR, can you roll the clip, please?
I began to talk about why Haitians can fix Haiti. Because you don't have Haitians. You have just a country forcefully imposed upon your citizenship, but you are from different places in Africa. But right now, if you go somewhere, you would speak Creole, and somebody would say, oh, that is Haitian. That's what I meant. Not putting them on any pedestal. So they have a language. They created one. So you want to say, and it's not even useful in any because it's not an international language. So they took French and made Creole, right? Is what you say. Spanish, French, and then over 200 African tribal languages into one. But Americans would say that they took English and made their own language as well. And what is that? I mean, it's a broken version of English, but still something that we could speak to that's specifically to us.
And why would you want to speak a language that doesn't belong to us? Why would you want to do that? That's like taking that man's draws, me taking my draws off and putting on another person's draws on. What does that make any sense? Like, what? That's something prisoners would do. That's something that prisoners would do, straight up. What language is that? I mean, it's English. You're talking about
AAVE, African American Vernacular English. The same way, for example,
I think I've heard, yes, when I came to this country in 1994, I had a debate on my campus about Ebonics.
Right.
Now, yeah, and somebody corrected me. I think it was my professor said, no, if you say Ebonics, there is no one collective Ebonics. Correct. You have to go into pockets. If the person is from the north, the south, the central, they created their own style around it. So I understand that part. That didn't even qualify as a subculture. So let me give you, Jamaicans don't have a culture. When you say the country Jamaica, no, that's not identifiable as a culture. But the Rastafarians have a culture. Now, let me explain what I mean by worldview. The Rastafarians' worldview is that men were put on earth to take care of nature. Okay? That wealth, you have to create more than consume. So they live a frugal life. So politically, they are pacifists. They will never go to war. Socially, they're communal and what we call Epicurean. They believe getting high, eat some food, and have deep conversation is what life is about. And then religiously, they are Rastafarians. Hippies, are the Western version of a Rastafarians. They also had a worldview, and that dictated their relationship with wealth. The hippies believed that humans were put on earth to create and consume, and that living in community and being frugal as to wearing the most inexpensive clothing and using things together is what life is all about. So it guided how you see them dress, where they shop from, why they marry, on and on and on. That's what I mean by any society, if you want to understand them, it's the worldview. The Jews believe that
I'm still trying to figure out what I mean. There are some things that he's right about, and there's some things that he's wrong about. And the Haitians speak Creole. I forgot who Haiti's representative is. Ours is Britain, but I'm trying to figure out who theirs is. I'm not done watching. Give it a minute. Damn. French. Thank you. Thank you. And there was a time when they owed France money for decades and decades and decades. So if they were to get reparations, they would get it through them. And that's crazy work. And this is their response.
Okay. I think he just expounded on the earlier points, if I'm not mistaken, right, Drew? He kind of just further tried to clarify. I didn't hear anything new per se. Unless anybody missed something. I may have missed something. Go ahead, Pretty.
I'm gonna lose my cool in this conversation. Very triggering. I just think it's an entire disregard. It's an entire disregard for everyone that's descendants of slavery. I think it's very audacious. But one thing he said that stood out to me was he compared Creole and said Creole Haitians have a culture because they created a broken version of English in combination with Spanish. You could say the same thing about Jamaica that created French in combination with Spanish. And Jamaicans created the same thing. And then especially if you go into, say, Louisiana, there's a deep dialect. If you go into South Carolina, with the Gullah Geechee, there's a deep, strong dialect that is hard to understand for even some other Black Americans.
See, I like that part, but let's go to Sweeney real quick.
And I think we've all been.
I think that Black people have
we do
200,000.
Post-slavery, you didn't have black codes.
Definition. Monopolizing, being able to say you own portions of an idea, that's not the definition of culture. None of those things is culture. If his argument was we haven't monopolized an industry, then we could discuss that. When it comes to culture, though, we have that in such abundance, it's almost silly to ask the question, which is to Pretty point.
And I'm gonna ask you a question, True. Had we been left alone and you didn't have black codes, after post-slavery, you didn't have black codes, redlining, Jim Crow, the Black Wall Street being burned up, a lot of these race riots and things like that. What would Black people have monopolized in this country?
Industry. We would expand it.
Which industry?
Oh, real estate, commerce, art.
Which one primarily? Which one would have been ours?
Educate me.
It would have been agriculture.
Okay.
That would have been ours, and we would have been just left alone. But through a concerted effort, not only by the evil white people in this country, but being backed by the government itself, we were robbed of that. We would have been the brainchild through when it came to agriculture. When it came to farming and everything else, they would have to come to us first. But because that was stolen from us, we don't have it. So most of the time,
whose fault is that? Most of your mayors, your legislators and governors are bought off. So be careful who you let in your backyard. Just saying. Jasmine Crockett ain't no different from all the. Yeah, she is. And I believe that she is. You know why? Why are they effing around with this lady? Like out the blue, she's running for U.S. Senate, which I don't think to me is it's a step up, but it's not the presidency, if you know what I'm saying. It's not the presidency at all. But in every situation, when it comes to the top seatings, right? Bear with me. When it comes to the top seatings, no matter who it is, if you are a top dog in your establishment, you don't want nobody taking that shit over, especially black women.
on how we speak to one another. We rely on how we communicate. We rely on our shit. Everything that NY said.
Well, so I got a question. Yeah, I want to see Kiana, Shan, Luck, right? If I were to hear a retort to what Marcus said.
All right, but y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. And again, I don't like having conversations like this because it's too dry. It is too freaking dry. Worry about your damn selves. If you don't want to have the conversation with people who look like us but speak a different language, just move on. Move on from that. Move on from me. Because apparently I'm going to talk about it. Now I'm going to give a shout out to the real Nathan Daly, because Nathan Daly was on his job today. He was on it. But you're not gonna like people for whatever reason. If they're not in the same tribe as you as foundational Black Americans, you're gonna cut them off by the knees, and that's fine. When these tethers get tired of you and they just want to fight, rest assured, I'm gonna be right here. And Black America ain't gonna have too much to stand on, because quite frankly, you're all they got. You don't have any other allies. You have no allies. You have no allies. You have no industry. You have no base to go to when you're in trouble or to retreat to. You have no bullets because you don't even know how to make. You don't know how to make them. See? That'll be your opinion. That'll definitely be your opinion. And then I will ask you why she's an idiot. See what I'm saying? We want to have the conversation on why Jasmine Crockett is an idiot. We want to have the conversation why Black folks don't have any culture. Do you see what I'm going with this? But it's like, no, fuck that. La, 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 la. We ain't got that much time in the day, fam. So, in my conclusion to this, because apparently I'm tired, I'm gonna get some sleep. Tonight was good. Tonight was lovely. Got to see my kids perform. Hey, that to me is more better than this here little funky ass internet. Which, by the way, JD Vance. All right. Donald Trump too while I'm at it. What was I gonna say? I'll play the clip of her tomorrow. Deuces.